Alright, this is Zane Simmery here, and as far as Bella goes, I really think that you hit all the notes very beautifully. I thought that you have a really amazing voice and that you hit all the tones and notes really well, and the only sort of critique that I have at all is that the high note that you hit at about 3 minutes was a little bit off towards the end, but besides that, really no flaws that I could find whatsoever. I thought it was really beautiful and really great. And that would definitely give you a yes from me. For Taylor Kinsley, I would have to say that your voice has very nice tones. You hit the refrain very nicely. However, during the talking part of the song, I thought that your voice got a little too flat, and that it was a little bit too much like talking with some awkward kind of tones in there. And it just kind of sounded like you were trying a little bit too hard with the talking part. And so I would suggest you do a different song that would stay away from kind of those talking-ish tones, simply because it didn't work as well with your voice, but with the refrain, you really hit those notes very well. And that would be a yes from me as well. For Fanchan, I thought that your voice was a little bit breathy and just a little bit of a falsetto. You hit the lower tones a lot better, and I think that if you stick with that and then those really high tones that you hit, it'd be a lot better. But the mid-tones, you weren't quite as good with them, and so I would try to stay away from a song that has too many of those kind of middle tones. But I would still say yes. For Helena, I thought that your voice was a little bit too loud at times in a kind of screamy sense. Otherwise, it was pretty good. You had good variations in tone. But definitely I'd watch out for those high tones because you get a little bit too screamy and it's a little bit too much for me. So I would have to say no. For Amelie, I thought that your voice was a little bit too quiet at times. You hit the notes really well, but you just need to be louder. Also, if you could just make the background noise quieter by maybe plugging in some headphones or something like that so that we don't have to hear the song playing behind you, because you hit the notes really well, but at times it was a little bit difficult to differentiate your voice from the voice of the singer. But I would still say yes. For Ariana, I thought you were too quiet and you got a little whispery at times. Your voice was flat in a lot of areas, but some of the notes you hit pretty well. Overall, I would have to say yes. For Leah, I think that you have a good tone sense and that you hit the high notes a little awkwardly, but overall I think that you understood the tones well. However, I would have to say no. For Issa, I thought that you hit the notes well as well. You got too quiet at times. The sound quality of your voice is fine. It was just the take that you made of the clip, or the sound clip, was too quiet. and the high notes were a little bit awkward for me, but overall I think you did a pretty good job, and I would have to say yes. For Annalisa, I thought that you hit the notes really well. Sometimes you got a little bit too high, but it was a good thing. And overall, I thought that you did pretty well, and I would say yes to you as well. For Cecilia Webb, I thought that your voice was a little bit too low and too flat. That might have been just a poor choice in song, but I thought that it didn't work for me, and I'd have to say no. For Brittany Madison, I say that you hit the notes pretty well, and that you had a good tone to your voice. I think just try and be careful with your sound clip to make sure that the quality is good, but overall it's a yes for me. For Addie, I thought that you got too quiet at times and flat, and that wasn't the sound quality, it was because it seemed like you were mumbling, and I think that you just need a lot more confidence in yourself. Overall, it's going to be a no from me. For Amos, I think that your voice has a lot of nice tones and very good variation. I thought that was very strong. You definitely sang a lot lower than all the girls in the competition, but I thought it really worked well, and I liked it a lot, so that would be a yes from me. For Mel, I thought that your voice was really amazing. I think you chose a really wonderful song for your voice. You hit the tones really well, and you hit the high notes extremely well. And I liked that you didn't exactly sing the song in the completely traditional sense of the way that it was originally sung, and that you kind of brought your own sense to the song, and it really felt like your own piece, and it would definitely be a yes for me. For Jetta, I thought that you had some good tones at times. Your highs were a little bit too high, and they sounded a little off-key and falsetto to me. I think that it was probably a poor choice of song for your voice, and it's going to be a no for me. For Hillary, I think that your voice had good tones and variation. Definitely, I liked... Okay, TK, you're just gonna have to stop it right at the Hillary part and take over in a couple seconds, because that was bad. So, yeah. And for Hillary, I thought that your voice had very good tones and variation, and I thought you had a good choice of song, and it would be a yes for me. For Angela, I thought you had good tones overall, and it does sound like you have a bit of a cold, definitely, but I think that under that there's definitely something worth keeping, and it would be a yes for me. For Cole, I thought your voice was a little flat at times and a little bit husky. Also, the sound clip wasn't the best quality, so I don't think that helped it, and I'd have to say no.